tariffs up by 59.2% and water by 67.2%.
Kwesi Mr. Arthur and John Mahama ticket confirmed for 2016. And global carbon dioxide emissions to stall or even decline this year.
This is Ghana Television and this is GBC 24. You're welcome to Accra and to our studios. It's time for the news. I'm Akushika Akwe.
And I'm Conrad Kakraba, and Robert Frimpomans is doing the sign language translation.
There has been an upward adjustment in utility tariffs in the country. The Public Utility Regulatory Commission on Monday announced an increase in electricity tariffs by 59.2%. The country's utility regulator also announced a 67.2% increase in water tariffs.
This latest announcement comes on the back of the challenges, especially in the energy sector, or DUMSO as it is now commonly known in the country. Electricity supply is expected to improve following the arrival of the car power ship, and that facility will add an additional 225 megawatts of power to the country's power base. Maurice Ubete was at the briefing for GBC 24.
Public Utilities Regulatory Commission has announced an increment in utility tariffs. Now, we have a 59.2% increment for electricity and 67.2% for water. Now, before this particular increment, the ECG, or the Electricity Company of Ghana, was asking for a 128% increment in tariffs. The Ghana Water Company was also seeking a 402% increment, but the PURC decided to give the ECG 59.2% and the Ghana Water Company 67.2%. Quickly, we'll speak to the Public Relations Officer of the PURC in the person of Madam Nanaya Jantua to give us some more details. Now, what did you take into consideration to come up with this particular increment?
In doing this tariff, we looked at the current fuel and generation mix. We also look at the fact that there's the need to pay the power purchase cost. The power purchase cost meaning the cost of the IPPs. And so this is what we looked at. We looked at the interest of the consumer, we looked at the investor interest, we looked at the exchange rate at the moment, and these are some of the parameters that we looked at. Basically, the foremost thing was for the utility service providers to get a clean slate to be able to borrow some money to do whatever business they have to do. Certainly, the tariff alone will not be able to help them do everything, and the consumer cannot bear all the costs.
Certainly, when you look at the difference between 128 and 59.2%, there is a huge deficit. Who takes care of that particular deficit?
No, we are looking at reasonable costs. For instance, if the utility puts in their proposal that they are going to build maybe a warehouse, or they are going to build an office complex, certainly we take those costs out. We take infrastructure costs out, and we give them the operational and maintenance costs, and also the cost of the IPP to ECG, because ECG is the one that buys electricity from the independent power producers. So this is what we look at, and this is what the Commission has arrived at.
Right. You've stated reasons why this increment has become necessary, but really for the ordinary man on the street, DUMSO is still lingering on, and so he doesn't understand why we should increase utility prices at this particular point. What will be your simple explanation to the man on the street?
The simple explanation is that whatever this tariff is going to do is going to pay for the power purchase cost, and we are also looking to see that once car power is connected to the grid, Mary and all that, certainly we will see some improvement in the load shedding. So that is what we will say. This tariff is meant to put the utilities on their feet, and we are saying that they need to be on their feet, because if DUMSO wasn't there, it's possible we would have gone the whole haul. But because of DUMSO, doom. So we also considered that because of the doom, so let's give them what will keep them on their feet, and let's see the improvements that will come before we even consider anything else.
And so we have been speaking to the head of public affairs of the Public Utilities Regulatory Commission. Quickly, we have 59.2% for electricity as against 128% the ECG demanded. We also have 67.2% for water as against the 402% that the Ghana Water Company demanded prior to this particular increment.
Mr. Kwesi Amissah-Arthur has been confirmed as the running mate for President John Mahama. The development means the Mahama and Amissah-Arthur ticket will lead the ruling NDC into the 2016 general elections. The announcement brings an end to weeks of speculations over the choice of the running mate for the governing party in the upcoming polls. On Monday, President Mahama himself presented Mr. Amissah-Arthur to the party as his choice for the position.
Dramani Mahama confirmed His Excellency Kwesi Amissah-Arthur as his running mate for the 2016 elections. Now, prior to this particular event, there were some who were calling that Mr. Kwesi Amissah-Arthur be maintained as a running mate for His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. There were others who were also looking for other alternatives for different reasons. We will speak to the Deputy General Secretary in the person of Mr. Koku Anyindohu on this particular issue. Now, is the NDC, the entire NDC, backing this particular decision of His Excellency?
100%, Maurice, 100%. I mean, prior to this meeting, it was common knowledge that the national executives were rooting for the maintaining of His Excellency Kwesi Amissah-Arthur. But it would have been improper for us, to breathe it out, lest anybody is accused of mangling the democratic process. So yes, the choice this morning is what we're looking for. We are extremely excited. It makes life easier for all of us as executives. So we don't create any incongruity on the ground. Why did you massively endorse the president and yet the vice president was removed? You will spend too much time explaining the issue and you will not even have time to campaign on solid.
Is that the only reason why we will maintain His Excellency Amissah-Arthur? Is that the only reason?
No.
Convenience?
No. It's the more reason why we shouldn't have changed him, because the ticket has been solid for us. The ticket gave us the victory in 2012, and we believe as executives that the ticket must be maintained. Going into 2020, let 2020 take care of itself. You understand? I mean, there's some people who were trying to say succession plan, blah, blah, blah. Well, it's not written anywhere that automatically a running mate must become a flag bearer of the party.
So you think His Excellency Amissah-Arthur cannot be the running mate going into 2020?
We are saying that 2020 will take care of itself. Right. But for 2016, we are happy that the ticket is going. Let 2020 come, and God himself is the one who appoints leaders. The grassroots has expanded in terms of the voting base. So the voting base henceforth will be deciding who the leaders are. But for now, we are very, very happy that the president chose Kwesi Amissah-Arthur. Hence the unanimous acclamation and acceptance by National Executive Committee. Of course, the Council of Elders were also present. And so we are happy. And we thank the president for doing us the honor of renominating.
What does Mr. Amissah-Arthur bring onto the table in terms of election 2016? What dynamics does he change?
I mean, nobody is going to recreate and reinvent the wheel. To the extent that he's there, he's been supporting the president, and ably so. If you look at the whole transformational agenda, if you look at the continuation of the Better Ghana agenda started by His Excellency President Mills, if you're looking at, especially in the area of infrastructure expansion, if you're looking at managing an economy, in spite of the challenges. Former governor of the Bank of Ghana, former deputy finance minister, he's been vice president for 4 years, he's head of the economic management team. We think that he has all it takes to partner His Excellency President Mahama. And then hopefully once we get out of the darkness, that is in terms of the doom, so the ticket, should give us.
So that rather was an interview that we had with the Deputy General Secretary of the NDC, Mr. Koku Anyidoho, on the President's choice of Mr. Arthur as his running mate. Meanwhile, Vice President Mr. Arthur has expressed optimism about the chances of the NDC in the upcoming elections.
I see the President has a lot of positive attributes, and where I am weak, the President is strong, and I hope that I'm also able to add to his strengths. I've tried to be honest and not and tell him as best as I can the way I think problems should be handled. So if that's what he finds refreshing, then I thank him.
what their money is being used for. According to him, this will put to rest the negative mindset some people have about the trust with regard to the management of their funds.
At the conference were senior operations managers and area managers of the institution. The meeting reviewed the activities of the trust during the year, especially the implementation of the Operational Business Suite, OBS. OBS is a new software to support the day-to-day activities of the trust. The first phase of the project, which began a year ago, carried along its own uncertainties but has been successful so far, according to reports. The theme for the conference was our state-of-the-art technology and a new mindset, a prerequisite for enhancing productivity.
We need to evolve strategies to forge ahead. We need to work as a coherent whole to persevere to attain the vision of transforming our business through technology.
The general manager in charge of finance at SNIT, Ni Aja Nabla, was glad the introduction of the OBS has improved the technological landscape in the trust despite the initial challenges.
Indeed, the mindset that we possess individually in this organization will determine the kind of successes we achieve. If we are mediocre, we can only count and live on past glories.
The chairman of the Board of Trustees, Professor Joshua Alabi, said the direction of the board to SNIT is for it to stop making further investment on behalf of the public and rather review the already made investment to know whether they are of interest to the public or not.
In 3 years' time, I'll be going on retirement, God willing, and I'll be relying on you. So I have the opportunity now to make sure that I assist you to give me a good package when I go on pension. And the good package can only come when we review what we do and do something very positive for all of us.
Acting General Manager in charge of operations of SNIT, Lord Senanu, said the institution's operational performance and activities have been good.
Let's do banking because it's 10 years since the United Bank for Africa, UBA, made an entry into the Ghanaian banking space. With this milestone, management of UBA say it is now better placed to offer world-class service to its customers in Ghana. The Pan-African Bank, with footprints in 19 African countries, London, Paris, New York, now has a customer base totaling about 10 million worldwide.
When UBA chairman Tony Elumelu and his team decided to set foot in the Ghanaian banking space in 2004, the then government had denied licenses to several Nigerian banks which had the dream of pitching camp in Ghana. However, with determination and good leadership, UBA became the first Nigerian bank to be given a license to have a taste of the Ghanaian banking landscape. Not only did this breakthrough open the floodgates for other Nigerian banks, but it also offered UBA the opportunity to bring innovation into the Ghanaian banking space while moving the Ghana-Nigerian Brotherhood a notch higher. After 10 years of its operations in Ghana, UBA now prides itself as innovative, dynamic with end-to-end banking technology. With over 25 branches all over the country, UBA provides tailor-made services with the aim of satisfying its numerous customers and wooing new ones. At the company's 10th anniversary dinner dance and award ceremony in Accra, leadership of the Pan-African Bank expressed gratitude to its staff, clients, and partners.
I'd like, on behalf of the board, the Group Board of United Bank for Africa, to recognize the following stakeholders who have made it possible for us to operate in Ghana. I'd like to start with our customers, whose continued custom and patronage made it possible for us to remain in business, to be able to pay for the dinner tonight. To you all, we say thank you. You have been so kind to United Bank of Africa.
Governor of the Central Bank, Dr. Henry Kofi Wampa, commended UBA Ghana for its customer-driven services and innovation.
We join you in celebrating a decade of outstanding delivery of financial services and contributing to dynamism in the banking industry in Ghana.
Staff who have served the bank for the past 10 years were honored. Management of UBA say, with the high success rate recorded in the past decade, the outlook of the bank can only be brighter.
And still in business, Margins Group, a full-service ID and biometric systems and solutions provider, is 25 years old. Now, the company, which started as a tabletop company, now has two subsidiaries, the Margins ID Group and Margins Supplies Group.
13th December 1990 was when Margins Group was born. From a humble beginning, Margins has grown into a global business providing services to Ghana, South Africa, Iraq, Tanzania, among others. Margins provide different kinds of service which include Visa cards, MasterCards, NHIS cards, National Identification cards, security and transaction solutions, professional graphics and prints on demand services, among others. Today, Margins has 5 subsidiaries providing services which include Margins Intelligent Card Production Systems, Margins ID Systems Application, Identity Management System, Margins Supplies Company, Margins Pronto Pod Service, ID and biometric systems and solutions provider. The management of the company say after 25 years of challenging and blissful experience, it is poised to play a leading role in the security printer and manufacturer of tokens and devices market, not only in Ghana but also across the globe. The executive chair of Margins Group, Moses Baden Jr., said the next 25 years would see the company leveraging on its human capital base and cutting-edge technology to provide top-of-range solutions to its customers.
Today, the most important capital we have is our human capital, is our brain power. Our brain can change things. If we look at the landscape of the global world, we see the new great companies of today as compared to the great companies of yesteryears. You can find that companies that were run by the Rockefellers, for instance, who dealt in oil, the railway companies, the shipping companies, these are old companies. Their capital does not compare with companies like Google, Facebook, technology-driven companies, which are driven by ideas. What does that tell us? It means that today our brains are much more relevant than our money.
The Minister for Public-Private Partnership, Rashid Pelpo, said the government would continue to create congenial environment for the private sector to thrive.
The story about the private sector influencing the economy of our country is no longer a debate. It is a reality, and we are going in for it. We believe that in helping the private sector, we are helping the economy of this nation.
In the last 25 years, Margins has won national and international recognition as a dynamic, innovative and efficient organization. But the directors say they would work hard to ensure Margins become a blue-chip company within the next 25 years.
The Chief Executive of the National Petroleum Authority, Moses Asaga, is urging investors in the country to take advantage of the local content law and invest in the oil and gas sector and create jobs for the youth. Mr. Asaga made the call at the second Oil and Gas Ghana Award ceremony in Accra.
The second edition of the Oil and Gas Ghana Awards sought to show the industry's appreciation to eminent persons and organizations for their immense contributions made over the years. The Oil and Gas Ghana Awards, an initiative of Offshore Ghana magazine, is also meant to celebrate achievements made in the oil and gas industry in spite of significant challenges facing the industry. The Distinguished Personality of the Year award in the oil and gas sector was given to the Minister for Petroleum, Emmanuel Amakofibua. The Chief Executive of the National Petroleum Authority, NPA, Moses Asaga, received the Outstanding Local Content Awards, while the University of Mines and Technology of Takwa was adjudged the Best Oil and Gas Tertiary Institution. The Chief Executive of the National Petroleum Authority, Moses Asaga, in an interview with GBC 24, gave further explanation about the oil and gas industry.
The only way a country can benefit from discovery of oil and gas is when we have put in place a very reliable and sustainable local content law, which allows the good people of the country, and in this case Ghana, to participate in the form of equity, also to participate in the form of providing services, and also making sure that indigenous people in the country are employed in the sector.
The University Relations Officer of the University of Mines and Technology, Mr. Paul Yeboah, spoke to GBC 24 about the university's contribution towards the oil and gas industry.
The University of Mines and Technology is one of the best publicly funded university in the country because we train our students with quality teaching. We have the best laboratories. The engineering education we give our students is the best.
The event was organized under the theme, The Challenges of Surviving Low Oil Price.
The business news was brought to you by EcoBank, Airtel and Hisense.
Now some health news brought to you by FBAC. FBAC blows your pain away. The nursing profession requires a divine call and needs students to undergo discipline before they can excel in the profession. Some nurses have failed in the profession due to lack of discipline. The General Superintendent of the Saviour Church of Ghana and member of the Council of State, Openi Abraham Edusei, who made this assertion at the maiden matriculation of the Saviour Church Nursing Training College at the CM in the Eastern Region, called on the students to always remember the oath they take to serve their clients at all times and abide by it.
The Saviour Church Nursing Training College was established by the Saviour Church Ghana and runs the Nurse Assistant Program. Its first batch of students of 199 were enrolled in October last year. The number reduced to 147 due to non-performance by 19 males and 128 females. The second batch of students was 290 out of the over 1,500 applicants. In all, the student population now stands at 486, comprising 76 males and 410 females. The maiden ceremony was on the theme, The Role of the Church in Health Training Institutions in Ghana. The principal of the college, Mr. Raymond Kunsu, hinted that the school currently operates from a temporary site meant for performing surgeries, as well as patients of the Hawa Memorial Saviour Hospital. There are no staff bungalows and no transportation. He called for support and urged the students to learn hard to lift the name of the school high. The Eastern Regional Minister, Mr. Intwi Busiako Setre, said healthcare delivery is critical in the development of the country. To ensure quality healthcare, there's a need to invest in the training of health professionals.
To our dear students, I wish to urge you to take your studies very seriously and be worthy ambassadors of this great institution. One of my best teachers told us the lazy ones don't make mistakes. You give them assignment, they will not do, so they will not make a mistake. The hard-working ones, you give them assignment, they will do. They will get some right, others wrong. They will make correction and learn in the process. When the last exams is on, the hard-working ones, they pass, and the lazy ones, they fail. You either choose to be a lazy student or a hard-working student, and the future will show.
The General Superintendent of the Saviour Church Ghana, Openi Abraham Edusei, who chaired the function, asked them to show compassion to their clients, treat them with respect, and always remember the oath they took.
I wish you turn to a very disciplined moral character, and then the work you are being assigned to do, that is the academic one, don't forget.
The student took the matriculation and the nurse's oath.
The Western Region branch of the Ghana Red Cross Society has received 10 motorbikes from the Japanese government to help respond to disaster in the rural areas of the region.
Over the years, it has been difficult for staff of the Ghana Red Cross Society and volunteers to respond to disasters in the region, especially in the rural areas. The office has only one vehicle without an ambulance and other equipment to help in their work. The government of Japan, through the embassy in Ghana, donated 10 motorbikes to support the society in its activities. The regional manager in Sekondi Takoradi is Mr. Matthew Boateng.
In fact, when there's accident and the police inform us, because we don't have the logistics like vehicles to even rush the scene, sometimes the volunteers have to join passenger cars like the Trotro and the Red. By the time they get to the scene, the casualties have already been mishandled or handled by untrained people.
Mr. Boateng gave details about their support to the Ghana Police Service after an accident.
We had all the MTTD personnel trained, especially those in Sekondi Takoradi.
The Ghana Red Cross Society believes that if drivers adhere to traffic regulations, there would be a significant reduction in road accidents this Christmas.
That was the health segment brought to you by FBAC.
In other news, new data suggests that global emissions of carbon dioxide are likely to stall and even decline slightly this year. Researchers say it is the first time this has happened while the global economy has continued to grow. Scientists say the fall-off is due to reduced coal use in China as well as faster uptake of renewables, but they expect the stall to be temporary and for emissions to grow again as emerging economies develop. According to the study published in the journal Nature, Climate Change and presented at the COP21 in Paris, emissions of carbon dioxide from fossil fuels and industry are likely to have fallen 0.6% in 2015. They increased by around the same amount in 2014. Since 2000, global emissions have grown annually by 2 to 3%. The slowdown has occurred while the global economy has grown by 3% in both 2014 and 2015. The leader of September's short-lived coup in Burkina Faso has been charged with complicity in the 1987 murder of the country's former president, Thomas Sankara. General Gilbert Diender is the most senior official to be charged. President Sankara was murdered by a group of soldiers, but the exact circumstances of his death have remained a mystery. Mr. Sankara, a left-wing radical described as Africa's Che Guevara, is a hero for many Africans. The transitional government, which took over after Mr. Compaoré was overthrown in 2014, pledged to investigate the murder. 10 other officers have so far been charged in connection with the death of Mr. Sankara. General Diender is already in detention, facing charges in connection with the September coup.
experienced side. Sharks managed to convert 2 penalty kicks, but that was not enough as the Buffaloes, with their speed, put the game beyond their reach. The encounter ended 87 points to 6. The league continues at the Accra Sports Stadium this weekend.
That's all for sports.
Hello and welcome to Entertainment and Art segment of the news. My name is Micheline Taka. The presence of a camera on the streets filming is a magnet, especially for children. Out of curiosity, they hang around to see what's going on and sometimes are ready to pose or perform, and maybe they may have the lucky breakthrough. So we hit the streets of Accra to allow some random kids to express themselves just like any other child.
On a day just like any other, we were putting together a news report at the Adabraka market in Accra. A little group of curious kids became spectators. However, after watching us for some time, they started singing and rapping, perhaps hoping to appear on TV. For these 3, it is their wish to make it big on the music scene and become household names someday. But their desire is still a dream because it is difficult to get a foothold in the music industry. So our presence for them was just right timing to show off their talent.
I came from the way Nima to Adabraka. The rap game is not easy, but I will conquer. In case you see me on TV, call me Bulldozer.
Them a listen to we tune, so we better than this, and I wanna try, so we utter than this. We lyrically voice, so we spread bond them. All of them about.
But for these kids, they just love to sing and rap.
I'm a king now. Sexy girl, you like my thing. You don't make a go gaga. Sexy, you like my thing. Swag over Bugatti. London is wanted. Nigeria is wanted. South Africa is wanted. I'm a Kelly Marie. I'm a Kelly Marie.
Some claim they have the ability to rap just like Ghana's dancehall king, Shatawale.
Come on, talk, can jeans, can watch, can be war, Yadina. Making it every way they mean, they getting big up, I can say, never go to the field.
And the body damage for me, all of them party them, all of them is with each other.
This teenager also claims music is his birthright.
Rap is my birthright. Even if the teacher is not around, we like to rap around. So we can even gather ourselves 5 or 3. We even have a group at school, rapping every time.
Me not do me thing like me a trick my thing. Tell the boy them know me a tell ula the boy them bata. Ula them alka bad inna the kaka station the master. Ula the my boy them did.
Some were very eager to perform, but once it was time to do so, they became camera shy. Well, this may be raw talent, but certainly with some polishing, a raw gem can shine like a beautiful diamond in the sky.
Moving on, singer Janet Jackson has followed in the footsteps of brother Jermaine and joining the Muslim faith. The 49-year-old singer, who married Muslim billionaire Wissam Al-Mana in 2012, is reportedly taking the religion so seriously that she has even toned down her raunchy costume and dance moves for her comeback tour. Reports say Janet has spent a great deal of time studying the religion and its followers. And that's all for entertainment. And that's how we part company. Thank you for watching.
Good evening.